Hi guys, and welcome to C# multiplication timetable. The difference between this timetable and the previous one that I've developed is the use of a function called closure. Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to define a closure function to display confirmation prompt for an exit and confirmation prompt to create a multiplication timetable. Now let me show you guys how this works. Supposing I click in here and let's enter maybe 12 times table. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you straight to C# development environment, and we put one of these together. So let's start by using Visual Studio 2022. Now I'm going to click on create new project. There. The application I'm using, or the template I'm using, is Windows Forms application C#, the .NET version. Make sure that is selected. Let's click on next right here. Let's hope you guys can see that. Let's minimize this a little bit so that you can see it. Right there, click on next. There we go. Now I'm going to give that project a name. I'll just call it C# underscore closure underscore times table. There we go. Click on create. There. Now our development environment is ready. I just need 3 components in there, or let's make that 4. I'm going to come straight to the toolbox here. Double click on a button. We need 2 of those. Double click on it again. That's 2. Those are the 2 buttons, 1 and 2. Now let's go back in here. And I need a label. Then I need a list box to display my content. And finally, I need text box. There we go. We have my text box right up there. Label here. List box here. Let's drag it down. Bring back down the button a little bit more, and I'm going to select all of these components. Let's go straight to the properties right here. Click on the properties, change the font size to something readable. So let's come right down here. I'm going to make that, let's go for maybe 24. Yeah, that might do. All right, so up here, I'm just going to enter something in there, something like enter a number. So go straight to the properties of that label. Just enter a number. There we go. Done. Select the text box. The text box itself, I'm going to change the details of that text box to the variable name. I'm going to change that to txt times. Yeah, that will do. Now, this list box, I'm going to change the variable name of this list box to lst times. That's fine. Okay, so let's come down right down here. These 2 buttons, bring them down, and this one I'm going to change the names and the variable names as well. So let's change this one to btn times, and the content on it, the text on it, we can just change that to maybe multiply. Okay, and here we change this one to exit. And the exit, we change the name of the exit. The variable name, we change that to btn exit. There, with the exit, I'm going to create the very first closure function. So double click on the button exit. And right here, let me create the very first closure function. So I just tell you a quick definition of this closure, just to clarify 1 or 2 things. First of all, I'm going to enter a comment there. So just a little bit about closure itself. You see, closure are created when a function is defined inside another function, and the inner function uses variable from the outer function scope, okay, and the inner function is then returned from the outer function, which creates a closure containing the inner function and the variable it refers to. So now let's create closure itself. I'm going to enter action in there. I'm going to call this exit program. That is the name of my closure. Look at the system. The system officially recognized that I need the function called lambda right there. So I'm going to just accept that. There we go. And you see those two curly braces? You can also refer to them as statement block. There we go. Now I have my statement block. This is my lambda function in there. Now, within this, I am now going to enter function that will take care of my exit. First of all, I'm going to declare what is known as dialog result. So this dialog result, let's accept that. I'm just going to give it my own name. I'm going to call that maybe a result. Yeah, result will do. There we go. And this very result, let's enter message into it. Let's say result. That's going to be message box. And I want this message box to show the following. What do you want it to show? I'll just enter confirm if you want to exit. And that's it. Now, it does accept 4 arguments. The next argument is going to be, let's just call that exit. That will be the title for the message box. The next argument, that is going to be another method. So I'm going to use message box button, this very one. Let me accept that. Message box button, that's yes. Enter another comma for the 4th argument. And this is going to be the message box icon. So this icon will generate either yes, no. Okay. No, it will generate question mark, exclamation, warning. So let me select question mark. There. That is my variable taken care of. Now the next thing is how they use an if statement, or you can call that conditional statement, to get into this variable to see the selection that is made. So that's meant to be a result. If the result equals dialog result.yes, so I'm going to set that. Come right down here. You can see the statement block right there again. So I'll just say application.exit, accept that. Now, we now need to enter semicolon here, and right underneath here, how do we gain access to this, our closure function? So grab hold of that closure function, paste it right there, enter semicolon there, and that's it. So that is how you create a closure function for your exit button. So what will happen is if I run this now, the system will officially prompt me to confirm if I want to exit. Look at that. If I say no, I'll still remain within the system. And if I say yes, there we go, I exit. That is that. So let's do another one. Now, to take care of the multiplication timetable itself, double click on this. Okay, the name of this text box is txt times, I believe, multiply. Just get it right. Yeah, there we go. Multiply. Okay, now double click on the multiply times table, and in here, if you like, you can also enter, or maybe I should enter another comment in there. So let's say define, speed that up. Okay, I've entered 3 comments in there. This very first one is to get the value that is entered. And where am I going to enter the value? I'm going to enter it onto the text box. So I'll start in here by saying integer. Let's call it value. That's the name of this variable that I've just created. And I'm going to now say int dot pass. Whatever you pass in there, it should be stored in here. Okay, change this one to txt. So that's going to be txt text. There we go. Okay, that is the text box that I intend to enter whatever numeric value that I want to multiply. Now, to clear, I also need to clear the list box. So in there, I'm going to say lst times dot items dot clear. That's all. That takes care of that. Now, underneath here, this is where I will now enter my closure function. So the closure function is similar to the closure function I have in here. I can just copy this and just change it around. So come right down here, place that closure function in here, and I'm going to change this name to multiply. Let's see, there. So that is the name of that very closure, multiply. Now here we must create statement block. So inside this very statement block, I am now going to use a for loop. When there's a for int I, the first value is 1. Enter column. The second value is going to be I. That will be equals less than and equals to 12. So to go down the loop 12 times, the first time is 1 up to 12. Then we increment it by saying I++. There we go. So press enter. If you notice, the system actually gives us another statement block. Now, what about the result? Let's create another integer here. So I'm going to say the result itself, and that is going to be equals value. Let's multiply that by I. There we go. We now need to add this straight onto my list box. If you guys remember the list box that I have earlier. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Press enter. So the list box that we're taking whatever I have. So I'm going to accept that and just modify it. So come in here. So now I want to add all of the data straight onto the list box. The first value that will go into the list box will be the value because I want the value displayed. Okay, so I'm going to say value. Let's close that. I just want you to display whatever I enter. Then the next one is the sign of multiplication timetable plus now I. And that is that. Add a plus there. There we go. We've just finished creating our multiplication timetable, but let's enter the sign equals here. Right here. There we go. And underneath here, what we need to do is enter semicolon in there and come right down here. Now call this very closure function there and get rid of this equals. And that is how you create your own multiplication timetable using the closure function. Okay, before we try that out, let's change this one to equal sign and enter a bit of space in here. And that's it. So have a good look at it. This text box, whatever is in here, is added straight onto this variable called value. Then clear whatever we have inside the list box first. Create your closure function. Then create a loop to give you 1 to 12. And the I multiplied by the value. Here. Store that in a result. Now add the value in here. That's the value. Whatever you enter in the text box is displayed here. Multiplication sign as a string. Then I. This is what generates 1 to 12. Then the result. That is the result right there. Then close. And your closure. So let's run that and see how that works. Click on run. Now, decision time. Enter whatever number in there, 9. There we go. Let's say we change that to maybe about 11. There, remember the function here is to clear it first. Okay, that's it. Clear it whatever anytime you enter another value. Let's go for 14. There, and that is how you create your own creation timetable using a closure function. So with that, guys, I'm going to call it the end of this short tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoy it, and please do subscribe to my channel, and you can also join to become a member of the channel. You all have a nice day now, and bye for now.